So I think number 9, 10, 11 were just like problem number 8. So I'll let you work those out. Number 12 gave us something a little different. It is the same formula, but we are solving for a different variable. They want us to find R. So we still going to use the same formula. Our future value right here is equal to the principal times 1 plus RT. You simply plug in the values that they gave you. I plugged in the A, I plugged in the P, I plugged in the 1 was part of the formula. I don't know my R, I'm trying to find it. And the T value is 1. This is exactly the problem that we did at the very first. Remember where we had to solve for X, I think it was? This is why that problem was given to you. The only thing that I'm doing right here is I'm multiplying 1 times R and getting R, just to clean it up a little bit. So I'm trying to get R by itself. R is inside the parentheses right here. R is inside the parentheses. I can't get to the R because it's inside the parentheses until I make this 3,000 go away. Remember that says 3,000 times the parentheses. Well, how do I undo times? I need to undo it so I can make the 3,000 go away. What's the operation that undoes multiplication? Division. So I'm going to divide by 3,000 to make it divide out. But if I divide the right side of the equal sign by 3,000, I've got to divide the left side of the equal sign by 3,000. And over here, those are going to divide out, and it's going to leave me 1 plus R. I no longer need the parentheses because there's nothing on the outside of the parentheses to require me to need it. And this value right here, I typed in my calculator. It gave me 1.075. Depending on, since we're looking for an interest rate, and interest rate is a decimal value, you can leave it as a decimal, but if you need to, don't forget this little toggle switch right here will change it from a fraction to a decimal. But I want it as a decimal because I'm going to do interest rate. 1.075. Now I don't have R isolated. This R is being added to 1, or 1's being added to R. So I want to make that 1 go away. So the inverse operation of adding 1 is subtracting 1. So if I subtract 1 from the right side of the equal sign, I have to subtract 1 from the left side of the equal sign to maintain equality. Positive 1 and negative 1 add to 0. So 0 plus R is just R. And take 1 away from 1.075 and you're left with 0.075. So that is my interest rate written as a decimal. They want you to turn it into a percent, so we know how to do that. We just say times 100, and that's times 100 is going to move that decimal, so it's 7.5%. 7.5. Okay. Same kind of question. I'm gonna let you do it. This one's gonna be a smidge, just a smidge different because they give me 9 months. Here they gave you years, and here they gave you years. So we need to be sure that we adjust for that difference. I'm going to assume, see, they didn't give us how many they didn't give us like 365 is in a year. So I'm going to do months. I'm going to do part of a whole again. So when I figure out this problem, I'm going to do A equals P times 1 plus RT. And my A is 2726. My principal is 2,300. 1 plus R is what I'm solving for, and my time is 9 over 12. Tell me where I got the 12. There's 12 months in a year. So 9 over 12 is the part of the whole. The part is the part. Remember, interest rates are usually given in annual, annual interest rates. So I need to convert those 9 months into a year. So that's why I did over 12. So I'm going to do the same thing I did a while ago. I've got to get rid of this. So divide both sides by this. 2,300. And I'm going to use my calculator. 2726 divided by 2300. Oh, that's a lot of decimals. Let's see, what did it say? Round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so I am going to keep 3 decimal places. Round to the nearest tenth is 1 decimal place. So I'm going to keep, ooh, my keyboard fell. I'm going to keep 3 decimal places so that I have a round off error. It won't mess up my tenths. So I'm going to write down 1.185. 1.185. The 2 after that 5 tells me to leave the 5 at 5. And that cancels out. 1 plus 9 over 12. I'm just going to see if that's a nice decimal. It is. It's 0.75. So I'm going to write that as 0.75R. If it wasn't a nice decimal, I would have left it 9 over 12R. But it is a nice decimal, so I'm going to leave it there. This is just a plain old ordinary 2-step algebra equation. We're trying to get the R by itself, so we're always going to start with the addition. Undo that addition. It's a positive 1. What do I put with a positive 1 to make it add to 0? We put a negative 1. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Those 2 add to 0, leaving me the 0.75R. On the right side of the equal sign, that's all I have left. On the left side of the equal sign, I'm going to have 0.185. Okay, now this says 0.75 times R. How do I undo multiplication? I'm going to divide both sides by 0.75. And I believe this was question number 1. How do you divide by a decimal? I didn't go over it because I'm literally going to tell you to use a calculator. So we're going to do 0.185 divided by 0.75, and the answer comes out to be 0.24 repeating 6. 24, the 6 is repeating. And so you put the little bar up there. So that's the value of R. The reason that that's important is because of the rounding rule, of course. It says round. I need to change that now to it's a decimal. I need to change it to a percent. So we know we multiply it times 100, which is going to move it to 24.6. That'll be 6, and because it's repeating. So I just added another 6, because this could be, of course, written 2, 4, 100 6s. But whatever last 6 that we write, it just says that we're going to continue to repeat the 6s. So I didn't magically create another 6. I just added 1 to it because I don't remember what my rounding rule is. Round to the nearest tenth. So if I'm rounding to the nearest tenth, I have to look one place to the right. To the right of the 6 is a 6. That 6 is going to tell me to change that 6 to a 7. So 24.7%. 24.7%. Same kind of problem here. You're just solving for a different variable, but it is, again, just algebra. You have A equals P times 1 plus RT. If we're solving for P this time, we plug in the values, 6,500. We don't have a value for P, but we have 1 plus rate, 0.045, move the decimal 2 places, multiply that times 2. Okay, so this stuff inside the parentheses is being multiplied times P. Now you can go ahead and do that. I mean, you can do that math You can do it now or you can do it after we move it. We're going to divide it out in just a second, but 0.045 times 2 is 0.09, and I'm going to add 1, and I get 1.09. So this becomes 6500 equals P times 1.09. See, it just makes it look a little bit more easy to work with. Now that P is being multiplied, so what undoes multiplication? Division. So we divide by whatever is with our P so that we can get our P isolated. When we have common factors on top and bottom, it divides out and leaves us 1P, which is what we want. And then we type in over here 6,500 divided by 1.09. And we get our principal, which was $5,963.30. I'm going to round to the nearest cent. That 2 right there tells me to leave the 0 as 0. So 5,963.30. What did I do wrong? I did do that. Did I do something wrong? 6,545 times 2 years at 0.45. Oh goodness, I'm gonna stop it so I can find my mistake. Okay, so I left it right here so that you could see. It's a weird rounding rule. So what I had to do, even though right here it told me that 2 should not make me change, I turned it around. That is what the rounding rule. We should leave it at 30, but that is going to cause a kind of a weird thing to happen. If that is my principal, I multiply my principal times my rate and time, I don't get the 65. I'm just a few pennies short. So $5,963.30 is actually not quite enough. I need a few more cents, and since I can't keep that to 7, I have to change that to 31 cents. So when you are finding your principal and money, sometimes you're going to have to not use your normal rounding rules because if you don't round up, you're not going to actually have enough. So that's what happened with that one.